Welcome back to another great episode of North Texas BBQ Addicts. In today's video, we've got two different types of steaks. One is a cowboy cut ribeye from Six Brothers Beef, and the other is a New York Strip, also provided from Six Brothers Beef. Their information will be down below in the description box. And hey, if you want to order, we've got a code that's NTBA10 for 10% off your total order. But we've got that cowboy cut ribeye and the New York Strip that we're going to reverse sear on the old copper Weber kettle. If that sounds good to you, make sure you stick around and don't forget to like and subscribe so you can keep track of this barbecue journey. Let's go ahead and get outside to the grill. Alright, so we've got a New York Strip USDA prime and a cowboy cut ribeye prime as well, both from Six Brothers Beef. Their information will be down below in the description box. We're going to hit it with a little bit of our NTBA all-purpose smoke shake, and then follow that up with some of the steak seasoning from Youngbucks. So y'all have seen me use this several times. I'm going to show you seasoning up one side of each steak. And again, this is a comparison just from a New York Strip and a cowboy cut ribeye standpoint. They're both going to be great because they're prime, but they do have their differences. So we're going to do a little bit of a light coat right there. And what I love about this is my seasoning is not too salty, so this is going to give a nice salt and pepper flavor on top of the garlic and brown sugar and cayenne. So we're going to do a heavy coating of that, which is going to make a great crust on our steak. And of course we're going to get our edges as well. Just as simple as that. It doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to worry about it. It's not that hard to season up some steak. So I'm going to let that set for about 5 minutes. Flip them over, season all the edges and the other side as well, and then we'll throw them on the kettle. Alright, so as y'all can see, we've got our steaks on there, the New York Strip on the far side and the cowboy cut ribeye. We're rolling at about 250 degrees on the indirect side. I'm going to shut this lid down and start cooking. Obviously the New York Strip's going to cook quicker just because it's not as big of a cut. But either way, I'm going to keep y'all updated on how it rolls. This will be like a semi-snack before we get to the real deal, the cowboy cut ribeye. But again, we're going to talk about the differences. This guy's super thick, got a lot of fat in it, and this guy's a little bit thinner, got some good fat content in it as well. Let's go ahead and shut this down. Smelling good. We're rolling with some hickory and some Kingsford Blue. And you want to put your vent over your meat so that smoke comes right out over your meat and gets to soak up all that smoke flavor, and that's just going to make for an awesome turnout. We're going to cook this to about 90 degrees on each steak and flip it, and then we're going to cook them to about 115 degrees. Then we're going to get this side with the charcoal and the wood all fired up so we can sear it up for the finish. Y'all stick around, and next time I see y'all, we'll likely be looking at the New York Strip, and it'll be closer to 90 degrees. And this guy over here, the cowboy cut ribeye, will still have some time to go. So see y'all here in a little bit. So we're about 15 minutes in, and I'm not gonna lie, the kettle is a little bit hotter than I would like, but that's all right. We're gonna go ahead. I did already check the internal temperature of the New York Strip and the cowboy cut ribeye. This is right at about 90 degrees, which is when I told you we were gonna flip it. This cowboy cut is at about 67 degrees, and we checked it with an Inkbird here, so you don't have to have this one, but get you a thermometer to check your internal temperatures. We're going to let that ride for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'm going to crank this up and sear it, and then this guy's still got a little bit more to go because like we talked about, it's a lot bigger than the New York Strip. So again, we're rolling at about 350 right now. I'd like to be at about 300, but that's okay as long as you keep an eye on the internal temperature. So y'all stick around and we'll check back on it in about, I'd say 5-10 minutes most. See y'all in a little bit. So we're good on the New York Strip. I already know it. Last time we checked it, we were right around 105. And once we put it over the grates here where the fire is, it'll get even more hot. Let's stir that up a little bit. Go ahead and put that right over it. It's searing up well, got a nice sizzle to it. Let me bring y'all in for a close-up so y'all can see what we're working with. That fire is going well. I'm going to cook this for about 1 minute to 2 minutes each side because like I said, we're right at about 110 degrees, give or take, on this New York Strip. This guy's still got a little bit more to go. Actually, while I'm doing that, let me go ahead and check the internal temperature of this guy while we're got the kettle open. So last time I checked it, like I said, we were at about 67 degrees. Check another spot. We're right around 80, somewhere around there. So that's rolling well. In about 5 or 10 minutes, it'll be time to flip this bad boy over. I'm gonna sear that up and then we'll let it rest, and we'll show some comparisons. Obviously, again, this is gonna cook quicker, so we'll talk about the differences in the texture of the cowboy cut ribeye and the New York strip. So y'all stick around and we'll already have this pulled off next time we check in, and we'll be focused on this cowboy cut ribeye, so hang tight. Alright, so we're rolling still around 250. Let's go ahead and get another check on this steak here. It's looking awesome. The fat is starting to break down because we put the fat and the bone closest to the heat, and we've been rotating it around. So let's see where we're at. Exactly like I said, we want to flip this bad boy at 90 degrees. We're at 91, so let's go ahead and flip this guy. Just like that right there. And I topped off the New York strip when I flipped it with a little bit more steak seasoning and the NTBA rub as well. Man, if y'all could smell this. We've got the New York strip resting. Don't have a ton more to go on this guy. It should take about 15 minutes or so before it's time to sear it up. We'll see how it goes. But we want to just make sure we don't lose that seasoning when we flip it around like that. So this ring of fat's going to start breaking down because we put it next to the charcoal and the hickory wood. And that's going to make for an awesome bite on a steak. So just like every time, we're going to face our exhaust to where the smoke has to go over the meat before it leaves the kettle. So next time I see y'all, it'll be time to sear up that big old boy, and then we'll talk about eating some steak. So we got bracing over here. It is time to sear it up. Again, we've been checking it with an internal thermometer. If you don't have one, it's crucial to making a perfect cook on anything you're doing, if you're not sure about what you're doing. But we're gonna let him flip this over. We want to get up under there way more than just the bone. Hold on, I'll help you out. Just put this here. And then we're gonna put it right here, right over the fire. Exactly. Just like that. Let me situate it for you. Good job, dude. So we're gonna do that right there. Let that roll. I'd say a minute and a half, 2 minutes each side. If you can smell that salt, pepper, garlic action happening over the charcoal, this is gonna make you want to cook this steak alone, just the smell. So we're gonna sear this up for about 2 minutes each side. Let that rest. The New York strip's resting. We got some mashed potatoes and green beans, I think, that we're gonna eat with this. And next time I see y'all, we're gonna give it a taste test. Now's the moment of truth. Y'all have seen the entire cook from start to finish. We seasoned it with some North Texas BBQ Addicts all-purpose smoke shake and some Youngbucks steak seasoning. Like I said, we've got steak, we've got mashed potatoes, green beans, and we did hit the mashed potatoes with some It's Incredible from Heaven Made Products. So let's go ahead and get into it. Here's the New York strip. Awesome cook, looks juicy as could be. Let's see what we're working with. Look at that, completely tender. My favorite literally is USDA prime steak, so I would pick USDA prime over Wagyu almost any day. Not that Wagyu's wrong, but it's just got a great beefiness. So here's that cowboy cut ribeye that we cooked as well with that New York strip. Let's see what we're working with. Wow. Neither are wrong, but I have to pick a winner, and the winner is the cowboy cut prime ribeye. It's just so much more tender, and that just has to do with the amount that the weight that it had with it. It's got more fat content rolling through it, so it is way more tender. The New York strip's great also, don't get me wrong. Let's go in for another bite. Gotta follow it up with some mashed potatoes. and some green beans. The only thing that's going to make this better is this guy right here. So cheers to y'all. I appreciate y'all for stopping by North Texas BBQ Addicts. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscription button and the bell so you can keep track of this barbecue journey. Again, I appreciate y'all for hanging out. Until next time, peace. Y'all keep on barbecuing.